Hello, everybody. It is Jynnette The Oracle. Welcome to Oracle Talks. It is season 4, spring 2025, and I was called to jump on and provide some messages. These messages will not be typical, so it's not going to be a, what you should do to navigate the situation. You can find that information on your own. Plenty of other folks who are speaking about the eclipse in that context. Yeah, it's ubiquitous, so I trust that you will find what you need. I'm going to actually be speaking about changes that are happening within the Monad Soul Group. So this is going to be a very esoteric thing. I'm actually explaining too much. If you know, you know, you'll get it, you'll grasp it. It will be revealed to you as you need it. And hopefully it provides some aha moments for those of you that resonate with it. With things I do hope everyone is doing well, that you are healthy, that you are secure and stable, and that, yeah, your community that you are connected to is loving and supportive of you, and vice versa, and that everybody is taking care of themselves during these challenging times, because it is challenging, right? But we're here and we're still here, by the grace of God, and obviously support of our ancestors too. So we give thanks. So the Monad Soul Group, I downloaded not too long ago about one, that there is a council within the Monad Soul Group that governs and manages things for the collective. And so the collective of humanity would be, the Monad Soul Group, but within there is council. There are members who are on the council who are incarnate, as well as those who are only in the spirit. Okay. So there will be some folks who are alive today who are part of that council. There are people in the spirit who are part of that council and they're not incarnate. So it can be either or. But the download that I got was that there were members of the Monad Soul groups, the members of the council or the Monad Soul group, who were being removed from their positions because of basically not stewarding their positions well. Not handling business either malevolently with intention or, complicity, what have you, right? So it's essentially like a flushing out of some of the ranks. I don't know like the size of the ranks, and I don't get that kind of info, but I was just giving a heads up that there would be a change, and that change was to essentially occur on March. As of today, that would have been yesterday. So in case you picked up or felt a major shift either to yesterday or possibly today, in the spirit, how it possibly is related to that if you are sensitive to those kinds of things. Now, of course, those positions that were held on that council won't be left empty. They will be filled in folks. So for those positions where it's going to be transferred to, where others are going to be appointed, whether in the spirit, meaning they're not incarnate now, or those who are incarnate now, that will be happening if it hasn't already happens. But like that call or that awareness, that insight about who you are or the position you hold will be coming through. Now, it might come through in a really subtle way. I know of one clear way. I won't say it just for safety and security and sanctity of the information. But you might be given or you might see yourself with a particular item that is unique, that you haven't come across before. Okay. If that is you. Now, if you do see that or receive that, if you receive it, it would be like a new position, a new call. If you already see yourself, that means you probably were already in a position on the council. So if you have a question around that. So yeah, so there's that. Now, why is this happening? Over the years, we've talked about aspects of this in different contexts, but over the years, there's definitely been a very penetrating presence of cosmic judgment, of divine judgment, of cosmic courts, of divine karma, divine justice coming in and supporting the balance of how things really are to be versus how they have been manipulated or hijacked, etc., to the detriment of what is to naturally occur. And so that's happened in a variety of ways. And this is just one of those ways where those who are in positions of power and positions of leadership that, again, are not being good stewards of their position, of their work, of their power, essentially are removed from those positions, okay? And we give thanks for that because none of it kind of like comes out of the blue, and it's not without a lack of awareness. You know, behaviors like that, abuse of power, let's call it what it is, abuse or misuse of power, they usually are going on for a very long time. It's not something that's like, you know, just happens every once in a while. Like, it's a pattern. And so there are and have always been opportunities to shift behavior, to do better because better is known. The choice has always been essentially to double down on, you know, not doing right, essentially. So, you know, that's what it is. But for those who are in those positions who are doing what they're supposed to be doing, or those who get put into positions of leadership, your job is essentially to look at what wasn't working, you know, the misuse or the abuse of power, understand that more deeply, see where there's a potential for you to behave the same way, right? Because the supposed other is merely a reflection of possibilities that we can be ourselves, and to do better because we know better, right? And develop better strategies, better ways of being, better ways of governing, better ways of using our power to build up appropriate effectiveness against falling into that pattern, not only for self, but for the collective as well. Okay. And it's part of the process. And this won't be the last time something like this happens. You know, we can be, and I'm sure you've seen this in your own life, like we can excel in a particular area, or we'll get a promotion into something, and in the beginning we start doing really well, but over time life happens, other things happen, moods change, minds change, beliefs change, values might change, and you know, the way we use or misuse or abuse our power, you know, unfolds differently depending on the person. So it's not a static thing, not like automatic, oh, I'm just going to be good, great, and perfect, and it's just going to be like the static way of living, of operating. Like, it has to actually be a conscious choice. It has to be intentional. And if there's anything that, well, there's many things with, you know, the North Node and Pisces experience right now that we're all going through. But one in particular I think is important is that piece of intention. because with all the possibilities that exist, thank you, Pisces, for showing us that, the intention for what of those things to choose falls on us. We do have to ask, okay, is it I want, how do I show up? How do I want to use my power? In what way is what I'm doing, my actions, etc., reflecting my character, my heart, my spirit, my work, my ethic, my values, my beliefs? That remains the same, and it becomes very apparent, it's very center here. And so this information, this intel about, you know, these changes in the council for the Monad Soul Group are there to serve as a reminder for those who remain, those ones who are called, to double down on the good stewardship of those roles, of those responsibilities, right? So it all works as sort of evolution, but evolution is a co-creation. It's not something that, you know, it's just, you know, we go with the flow and bumble and stumble into things. Like no, we actually we actually do participate in the process. Yeah. So what I wanted to actually do is give a little information, a little extra information about specifics on what was going on with those folks who were removed from their position. One, because I'm nosy, but also two, more importantly, it gives insight into those positions or those areas potentially that the council was made up of, that might be governing different areas of life, or yeah, different areas of life, maybe energy management within the human soul family, what have you. So we'll see. I forgot to say welcome to those who are joining. I'm just in channel mode, so if you're here, welcome. Feel free to say comments. Like I mentioned in the beginning, this is a esoteric download and transmission. All right, so I have the cards higher level forces, doubting, and reaching. Ooh, okay, this feels like some tea. So this higher level forces is giving me the vibe of those in the council who, you know, consciously choose to stay on the up and up and, you know, be good stewards of their roles. This doubting card feels like those who basically represent those who stir up trouble. Like they play devil's advocate. They'd be more volatile group of folks. And volatile rather than just being passionate, because passionate would be the the beneficial, I won't say positive, but the beneficial version of this, I'm feeling like. This is feeling volatility, where it's like the energy has soured. So it's a passion that is combative to excess, because we do need that passion. We do need Rajas energy, right? It's not in and of itself, but it does have to be balanced. But it seems like this element within the council previously was affecting another subset of the council with that reaching card. And what had come to mind when that insight came through, it was giving me the correlation of the dynamic that's showing up here and has been showing up in the US, that is very apparent here with the current political climate. And that's like this idea of the binary of, you know, the left versus the right. But it's really not a binary, because you have those who in general focus on you know, the best for all or good for all. Either idea tactics are differing. There's this general sense of wanting that and understanding the seriousness of someone like the current president and their administration and their folks connected to them presents, right? And then we have, you know, their camp. You have the folks in the middle who are, regardless of where they land on the surface politically, if they've been non-engaged or kind of like had their head sand, or haven't not really been paying attention, or haven't to believe the severity of things or the truth of you know, people's behavior on either side, like what they're really about, those folks are getting though that's the vibe of like this reaching energy here. It's like the it's a follower energy. It's like lukewarm energy. It's not really necessarily engaged per se. And so with the way that the cards came out, this energy is I don't know if it's gonna be flipped for you, but basically the doubting card is giving me the vibe of the entry in here into the reaching card and influencing that side of things. And essentially these folks being, you know, manipulated in a way, but it's not really manipulation, because, and this is the truth that is coming out. I don't know if you can see here in the image, there are people who are literally being out here. But there's this thing of like, oh, well, if it's not affecting me, or if I'm not actively engaged in whatever this is doing, then, you know, I'm not as bad as this, or whatever this, you know, group is doing is not really acting as long as I'm good, like, you know, it's that kind of vibe. So yeah, and it's not like a full, I know these are 3 cards, so it's like almost a third, but it's not a full third, because there is a bifurcation here. So there are some folks who are waking up and finding the beneficial side of passion, and are saying like, hey, I actually need to reevaluate my values and my beliefs, and what is going on, or how I've been showing up is actually something cool. And I have enlightenment now about that, and I'm going to shift and change. And so they're staying kind of in this light energy, and then the rest of the folks are not, because they're essentially like doubling down, or they're operating in fear, just like, well, you know, this seems really big, bad, and big compared to this, or this seems more powerful than this. So let me like maneuver and go to whoever the most powerful is so that I don't have to stand up for what I believe in or put myself on the line. All of that coming up, right? Now, that's just a framework that I'm given for this. I don't know if this is like exactly what's going on there, but the dynamic I can understand. But the purpose of all of this, whether this is in heaven or for us in our practical human lives, is the facing of what is there, is the facing of the reality of things, the facing of the illusion and the delusion that we bear. And most importantly, and the part that is most uncomfortable for everyone, is what are you actually 10 toes down about? What are you actually going to stand up for? How strong is your sense of self-preservation versus your ego versus your love for the collective? All of those things, it brings it to light, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And it forces us to see, and it forces us to make a conscious choice rather than to, again, and just act like we don't have power and agency when we do. We don't control everything, but we do have power and agency for how we show up. So that's what has been coming up. The hearts essentially have been weighed. And those folks who came up short got removed. All right. And, you know, there's always, spirit is with everyone, and there's always an opportunity to heal, to grow, and to come back to self, and again, to do better. But that doesn't mean that you need to be doing that process in a position that can create drastic amounts of harm or that has a big influence on swaths of people. So that has been handled. Now, of course, all that said, in this kind of shakeup in the soul group, it can be like, well, you know, is everything falling apart? And like, no, nothing is wrong. Nothing is wrong. When things like this come up, it is there to shine a light on what is actually there within, to read the heart. One second. So as I mentioned earlier, like everyone is being given this opportunity to see, you know, where we are, what we will stand 10 toes down on. So for those in the council, but also just, you know, the soul group in general. So it's going to be everybody, whether incarnate or disincarnate. We're all being asked once again to get clear on what it is that we desire, what it is we want to create, to stop pretending that we don't, to stop pretending that we don't have the resources to do so, to acknowledge where we may be sabotaging ourselves or being lazy, and to look at what has worked and what has not worked. And to see this experience, this current challenge, you know, because the removal of folks on the council is a challenge. And bringing on new folks, because they have to be trained and brought into momentum else. But to see how to do things differently now. And that differently may be a slight refinement or a shift in how the desire itself actually looks when it's manifest, or maybe a slight deviation in the direction of the desire. It might look like I need to take a completely different approach. But there's an opportunity here for something new, for something different. And the sense I'm getting is an important juncture here of trapping the group, the council, into doing what has been done before, rather than centering spirit and our own inner divinity. Being open to the possibilities and allowing for great mystery and need to flow through for something. Like the answers aren't going to come outside. It's not an external thing. Let me get some more around that. Yeah. I mean, literally, actually, in this image, you can see there's a person looking towards side, and it's much more open over here. And this, the area in back is closing off slowly but surely. It's like essentially like squeezing them in a particular direction. Even though there's also all these directions available. But another thing in the image, this person also looks like they are encumbered by everything else, or the ideas of everything else. So it's important to extract oneself from what has been, and not in a discard what has been, in a digest way. So you see it, you feed on it, basically you repurpose it, you reuse it. Because however things have been going on, they got to a point, but they did ultimately lead to an ending. Of unfavorable behavior from others on council. Now, it's not everything that was previous was bad, but again, it's like you're not going to be able to see, to understand any of that if you're not willing to look at it. if you're not willing to be with yourself, if you're not willing to allow the illusion and delusion to dissipate, and for Great Spirit itself to speak to you individually as well as to the council as a whole. I do get a sense, though, that the council's getting closer to clarity around that. So the divergence is essentially converging to a new point. Okay. You know, because this is spirit, time isn't really a factor, but possibly because the title of this video is Eclipse Season, it might be during this eclipse month. That process of consolidation to or configuration to a new timeline. One moment. A little bit more about how council can do this. That intentional repurposing. Union and pure intentions. One thing that's coming through is that the dream, the desires, the goal, etc., hasn't necessarily changed. And so just because there is an apparent shift in external circumstances, i.e. a change in the council for the Monad Soul Group, does not mean like all of a sudden everything just gets thrown out. That's not the case. So there is something, at least, or there are things within what the others were doing, those who got removed, that was useful or had been useful. So it got us far along our intended path. So looking at what those things are is key. One of the keys, at least. And those things that, again, were used and useful are there to be reclaimed. Which may mean that a good portion of the folks who are taking up the new positions to replace those who were removed, whether in the spirit or, I mean, it's all spiritual positions, whether they're incarnate folks or not. It's going to be those folks' jobs to reclaim what's of that other work, or have you actually got it where we needed to go for that cycle. And those folks need to be aware of the dangerous positions or that work or that service or what have you, because it may be something inherent in those things that has a tendency to influence or shift on to a more complicit or malevolent side of things. Yeah, there might be something within the nature of those roles or those positions on the council where it's easy for those members, those leaders, to forget their true soul nature, their true divine energy, their true purpose, the right stewardship, like something that allows for that lie of separation in the spirit of separation to seep in and allow for a souring or misuse or abuse of power. It's important. I do think the folks who come on will be, better equipped because evolution is a thing. So they're going to be much more equipped. So they'll be better stewards for longer. But these are two, well, not I think, I know these are two areas at least where it's a different perspective possibly has not been taken up before, or maybe if it has, it hasn't been to a large enough degree to create an impact. Hello. I'm in chat, so I'm paying attention to the comments, but welcome. I should be finishing up soon, but welcome. Yeah, there's something about the nature of the work. And so those who come in those positions, again, whether incarnate or disincarnate, they really have to do the work of guarding their heart and not in a way of closing it down, but strengthening and expanding of it and keeping it turned towards Great Spirit, to be honest. And Mother Nature, because Great Spirit also works through Mother Nature. Staying connected to nature should be part of that anyway, because human being is like a part of human nature. We are the human kingdom. There's lots of other kingdoms. So our relationship with the earth, Mother Nature is also paramount. You're new here? Oh, welcome to Inner Alchemy. I am Jynnette The Oracle. It has been a while. I think this is only like my second Oracle Talks this year, but in the past I would come on either weekly or bi-weekly or what have you, but I've been getting a call from Spirit to channeling. It's been more so like writing. So if you are new, definitely check out, previous stuff, especially I would say starting from last summer, maybe like July, August time up till now. And writing, especially if you're into astrology, I have a bunch of blogs. So I have the info down in the description. I have a North Node and Pisces blog up, a 2025 astrology forecast blog up, and other things that come through for downloads. And I'm on Blue Sky, so that's actually the way to get more like rapid information from me. But yeah, I was called, so I'm here. I think that's going to be it for the Monad Soul Group. So anyway. So I'm getting confirmation that there will be a transition period through the end of the month, approximately. To bring folks who have been called into these new positions, essentially giving them a chance to come into those leadership positions, like get grounded. They're already in them, but get grounded and have clarity and all that. And settle in. Now, also, some of you, particularly who are on the council, if that was a recent thing, relatively within the last 6 months that popped up for you, that most likely would have been part of the reclamation process, not part of this removal of those in council, of some of those in council that needed to go. But I feel like also if it's a reclamation, that means then in some way, shape, or form, there was an obstacle to you even having it. So it might actually be part of that. 1 second, let me check. Now that I think about that. Yeah. Okay. So it is actually part of this. So the March 12th deadline was essentially like the completion of that coming in. So yeah, part of misuse or abuse of power was keeping out other folks from the position, because there also is, just as an FYI for the council, there also is a natural cycling and transition of folks. You know, it's not a permanent thing. So some folks didn't want to leave and pass on the mantle to others and continue on their process of soul elevation or wherever else is available for them. And so, yeah, that reclamation of the position, and again, that would be made clear to you was part of this process. And like I said, for the little that I know, because we're talking about all humanity, so who knows how large the council itself actually is, really, and all humanity, incarnate and not incarnate. So, yeah, for little that I know, or for what's been shown to me about this, there would be, like I said, a special item on that. I don't know. I mean, I know what this particular item would be, but beyond that, I don't know what else would be that. But again, like I said, it would be made clear, or if you're wondering, you probably are going to be connected to someone who is, and you can ask them directly. To confirm for you. But it should be kept quiet, because just keep the sanctity around it. I.e., like, folks don't need to know if you're on the council or not. Okay. Let me see if I want to talk about anything else before I bounce. So specifically. So as of my recording of this, the eclipse is actually going to be happening tonight. So the night of the 13th into early morning of the 14th, where you are in the world. It is a south node full lunar eclipse. So it's much more potent. I've already touched on this again on the blog and on Blue Sky and things like that, about the energies and just dealing with things. So please keep up your energetic protection, because it is wild out there in these streets. And definitely, for many of us, for all, whether incarnate or not, been uncomfortable. This week we've had the Sun conjunct Saturn. This eclipse is, I think I previously posted, it was square Uranus. It's not, it's sextile Uranus in Taurus, I believe. Then we also have Mercury going retrograde on the 14th. It's tough energy. It's tough energy. So yeah, take it easy. Limit how much you're exposing yourself energetically. just for your own personal safety. At least until we get to the new moon eclipse in Aries, which will be the end of the month. That will be at 9 degrees Aries. And if you read my 2025 astrology forecast, you know that this is the last of a set of new moons happening at the 9th degree. The 4th one in a row, I believe. So yeah, it's definitely giving being propelled forward with that new moon in Aries. So I'm looking forward to that solar eclipse at the end of the month. I don't remember the exact date. It might be that 28th. Let me check. I'm not 20. Well, technically, like in the 29th, but basically that 28th into the 29th of so Friday into the Saturday. So similar kind of vibe. So take care of yourself around that time too. I'm sure. I mean, just this month in general, like stay on your energetic protection because the energy is intense. There's a lot of other things going on in the spirit that I'm not addressing. I just came to talk about the changes in the council for the Monad Soul Group. But I did touch on some of it with the recent blog on ancestor protection. So check that out if you haven't already. And talk to your ancestors and shift the tactics on protection in light of that info. But don't get caught out there slipping because it is quite, for lack of a better word, like dangerous, to be honest. And I don't say that lightly because we've had like, you know, not beneficial things around affecting us in various ways over the years, but it's one of the times where it's like, yeah, be careful and be careful for an extended period of time with these eclipses. So, if you're trying to predict what's going to happen with the new moon eclipse and what's coming, you know, ahead just in general, stop. Just don't. Not projection. It's not a like, oh, what can happen. You have the power. You decide how you show up. You decide what you are 10 toes down for. And you stay open and aware about the reality around you, about the environment. Don't get caught slipping, and make the best choice that you are able to make in any given situation. Okay, it's a very in the moment, but also a very clear and authentic way of being. The goal hasn't changed. The energy is frenetic and it's all over the place. Please know that that is actually the malevolent and malevolent forces to get you to not do what you are supposed to be doing. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be like hella active and like just doing all the things. You should always be 10 toes down on what you need to be grounded and stable and to stay in your power and to keep moving things forward. And that's going to shift on day to day or week to week, depending on your body, your situation, and your life circumstances. And so you always need to be aware and adaptable to that. Once you start getting into that frenetic energy and that, you know, that anxiety, I mean, some anxiety is natural, but like there's this spiraling out actually not now this is, for this time specifically, it is a malevolent influence. So if that is popping up, please know that you are being played. You need to chill the fuck out and reground, connect with your own spirit, soul, relax, because spirit is peace. So when you are connected, peace naturally settles in. And once you do that, clarity is there about what actions you need to take. And your job is to follow your spirit and continue to cultivate the flame of trust in your true nature, not these frenetic thoughts or frenetic emotions. A good idea if you've fallen off of certain practices for yourself, self-care, spiritual practices, just daily habit, whatever it is that you know keeps you on the up and up. You need to get back to that. Often what happens when we get stressed or have anxiety or fear is being triggered, we throw those things out the window, understandably, right? But if this is coming up now, that means that you're at a place now where you actually have a better handle over yourself and you don't need to be going through the motions like you might have before, okay? Doesn't necessarily mean that external world has changed, but now there is awareness being brought to you that there is a level of stability that has settled in internally, and you can lean on that and leverage that to come back to a place of purposefully using power rather than being complicit to illusion and delusion. Because truth be told, experience similar levels of anxiety or fear-based situations, circumstances externally, and you survived. And you're still here right now, but by the grace of God. So you know what? Do what is for you to do within your power to do, and just do that consistently. Even if what shows up each day looks different from day to day. But get grounded, be honest, take action on what your spirit tells you need to do. And sometimes that may be go lie down. Sometimes it may be go read a book. Sometimes it may be go clean. Sometimes it may be, reach out to this person, like whatever it is. Do what your spirit directs you to do. Do what great spirit directs you to do. Do what your elevated beneficial ancestors direct you to do. Okay, because they're looking out for you. But do not be your own prison warden. Because there's no cosmic judgment being visited upon you, except that which you do to yourself right now. And these malevolent forces, these malevolent energies will, again, seek to shift you or move you out of position, because that's the only way that they can do it. Like, they can actually come and take your position. They have to get you to move out of your authenticity, to move out of your power. And the tactics are the same. For those of you who are Christian, if you know the story of Job, the tactics are the same. The external world gets attacked. Money, relationships, stuff, right? It gets attacked, it gets taken. And you go through it. And if you have a heart that's turned to trueness, Like Job, you're like, and yet God. All right. Closing message from my spirit to yours on the council. Trading, exchanging. So I say welcome to the new folks who are on the council, who have been brought on. Enjoy your time of transition into this role. Let it settle in. Let this integrate within you and your spirit. Again, take the insights that came through messages about use this time of transition to take that insight I gave about looking at what the particular roles encompassed and all of that, right? Yeah, much love to you. We need you. We need your power, authentic power. All of us will keep things stable, and it will happen through our unique gifts and our unity through our distinction. So not homogeneity, but our unity through distinction. Yeah, sending all sorts of love, blessings, peace, and joy to you, and also all of that and more is bestowed upon you from spirit for this position. So receive it, soak it up, let that flow through all aspects of life, whether you are in the spirit or whether you are incarnate at this time. And keep the sanctity of your passion. All right. So that is it. Look, here like over an hour. Definitely was not the intention, but for those who know me before, you know, I end up doing long videos. Anyway, love to everybody. If you would like to book a session with me, as an FYI, I update my availability for the week ahead on Saturday, essentially. Sometimes Friday evening, but you know, if you want to be safe, check the schedule on Saturdays when you go to the sessions page on my website, and the availability for the week ahead will be there. Times are limited, so if you see something and you know you want to book a session, just grab it, because the availability changes literally every week, so there's not going to be any consistency there. So again, if you see something that you want, you need to grab it, okay? But yeah, every Saturday, essentially, it'll be updated. This Saturday, the availability for next week will be there. Again, check out the blog on the website, catch up on the recent entries, especially the one on ancestor protection. And yeah, as an early heads up, I was thinking of actually opening up enrollment for Sovereign, which is my entrepreneur program, in the latter part of the summer. So I'm still thinking of that, but I think I will open up right now, but I'm just giving an early heads up. If I do open, I probably will open definitely after eclipse season and maybe after like April, so maybe like May time. So if you're a entrepreneur, or you have like a small business and you've been in business for, I forgot what the qualifications are for the program, but been in business for at least a year, you can definitely roll through for that. So that's on the mindset. But if you want to read more about the program, at least the current version of it, you can read about that on the group programs tab on the website. So go there, click on Sovereign, and it'll take you to the page. So yeah, if I do decide to reopen that again over the summer, I may do some updates to, well, I'll definitely do some updates to some of the materials. I'm thinking that, so just a heads up for folks who are entrepreneurs who want to do business differently than the capitalistic way, and who want like a very holistic but also practical way of approaching business, and essentially how to build something sustainable that can get you something that can support you fully. And then I wasn't planning on it, but I'm thinking, given these changes in the Council for the Monad Soul Group, that I also do another round of the Lightworker Incubator with my signature spiritual development program. I was planning to only just do the current, this January cohort or the winter cohort that we started. So that will be completing in June. So I'm debating if I want to run both programs or I'm just going to do one. I really am on the fence because it can go either, I can do either program or just the one. So if you are watching this, if you're familiar with the programs, or even if you're not and you're just curious and you're new and you want to like that more, again, go to the group programs tab on the site, read about those and see which interests you. And you can either comment here on this video or you can comment on the website and let me know what interests you. And then like if I decide to do both, then I'll definitely do a special discount if anyone decides to take both at the same time. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what the call is. But I'm feeling, again, the intention to do Sovereign because I feel like entrepreneurs need support right now, in particular solopreneurs. But I'm not sure yet if the incubator is a strong call yet in the collective. So we'll see. It might be something that like unfolds over time, but yeah, so just giving an early heads up about that. So check those out. And if you have questions, of course, just let me know. You can contact me on the contact page. And again, comment below. I answer here too. It doesn't matter how you want to reach out. But I think that's it. For folks who are here watching, do you have any quick questions about anything before I bounce? It could be about what I talked about or about the programs or things like that. You know, in the comments. And also welcome to anyone else who is new. Any questions? Questions. It doesn't have to be, but you know, it's one of holds. All right, doesn't look like there's any questions, so I will go. Things, like I said, and God willing, I will see you the next time I'm called. Do a message, brother. Stay connected and check the community posts here on YouTube for updates, or follow me on Blue Sky if you're over there. Okay, bye.